This is Anna Maidwa from ISA 4220 or Spring 2020, and today we're going to talk about database. We'll cover the database, technical discussion, and database standards, PostgreSQL hardening recommendations. Database is a collection of information that is organized so it can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. Data is organized into rows, columns, and tables, and index to make it easier to find relevant information. The data gets updated, expanded, and deleted as new information is added to the database. PostgreSQL is a general-purpose, object-oriented database management system and the most advanced open-source database system. It was developed based on Postgres 4.2 at Berkeley Computer Science Department at the University of California. It was designed to run on Unix-like platforms. However, it was then designed to be portable so that it could run on various platforms such as macOS X, Solaris, and Windows. PostgreSQL is a free and open source software. Its source code is available under the Postgres license and Liberal open source license, which you are free to use, modify, or distribute in any PostgreSQL in any form. PostgreSQL requires minimum maintain efforts because of its stability. However, if you develop applications based on PostgreSQL, the cost of ownership is low in comparison to other database management systems. Here are the hardening recommendations for PostgreSQL. First is the user client control. When installing PostgreSQL, a file named pg_hba.conf is created in the database classes data directory. This file controls client authentication. From the official PostgreSQL documentation, we define the pg_hba.conf file as a set of records, one per line, where each record specifies a connection type, client range, a database name, a user name, and authentication method to be used for connections, matching these parameters. The first record of matching connection type, client address, requested database, and user name is used to perform authentication. There are a lot of combinations to make or refine these rules, but remember to avoid rules that are too permissive for allowing access for lines using database or address 0.0.0/0 for ensuring security. This is because files are read from top to bottom to find matching rules. This way you can be sure to allow permissions that you will need to explicitly add the matching rules. Next is server configuration. There are some parameters on the PostgreSQL.conf that we can modify to enhance security. You can use the parameter listen_address to control which IPs will be allowed to connect to the server, and avoid general rules like or 0.0.0.0 or it's a good practice to allow connection from the known IPs on your network, which will tell PostgreSQL to accept a connection from any IP. You can do this by changing the port PostgreSQL will listen to by default, which is 5432. You can also modify the port parameter. It is also important to keep in mind, in case you have denial of service attack, that this statement parameters can be set on different levels. So managing this wisely can help minimize the impact of the attack. The other one is user and role management. It is a golden rule for security regarding user management to grant users the minimum amount of access they need. Managing is not always easy, but it can be really messy at the beginning. So a good way to keep privileges under control is to use role, group, and user strategy. These strategies will create different types of roles, which is the role, group role, and user role. The role will be the ones having the privileges over objects. The group roles will be granted with the R_roles, so they will be a collection of R_roles. And finally, user roles will be granted with one or more group roles, which will be the ones having the login privilege. You can also create a read-only role and grant objects privileges to it. Using this method, manage granularity and privileges. You can also grant and revoke groups access to the users. Remember to only grant objects login privileges to roles instead of doing it directly to the users to grant login privileges to only the users. Restrict superuser access and allow superuser connections only from localhost domain. Use specific users for different purposes, like specific app users or backup users, and limit connections for that user only from the required IPs. Also, there is super user management. Maintaining a strong password policy is key to keeping your databases safe and avoid password hacks. A strong policy use of preferentially special characters, numbers, uppercase and lowercase characters that have at least 10 characters. There is also external authentication tools like LDAP that can help you to ensure your password expiration and reuse policy, and can also handle account locking on authentication errors. There is also data encryption. PostgreSQL uses a native support on SSL connections that can encrypt client or server communications for increased security. The SSL is the standard security technology for establishing an encrypted link between a web server and the browser. This link ensures that all data passed between the server and the browsers remain private and integral. As PostgreSQL clients sends queries in plain text, and data is also sent unencrypted, and it is vulnerable to network spoofing. This can be avoided by setting up the SSL parameter on PostgreSQL.conf. The server will listen on both normal and SSL connection at the same TCP port, and will negotiate any connecting client on whether to use SSL. By default, this is at the client's option, but you have the option to set up the server to require the use of SSL on some or all connections using the pg underscore hba.config file. There are two kinds of encryption, one-way and two-way. In one-way, you don't ever need to care about decrypting the data into readable form, but you just want to verify the user knows what is the underlying secret text. This is normally used for passwords. In a two-way encryption, you want the ability to encrypt the data as well as allow an authorized user to decrypt it. It is meaningful from data such as credit cards and SSNs will fall in this category. For one-way encryption, the crypt function package in PG Crypto provides a added level of security above MDF way. So all people with different passwords will have the same, but with the same encoded with MDF. So people with the same password will have the same encoded MDF string, but with scripts they'll have different. For data you care about retrieving, you don't want people to know the two pieces of information are the same, but you don't know that information, and you want only authorized users to be able to retrieve it. Logging. PostgreSQL is a wide variety of config file parameters for controlling what, where to log. To enable the session, long running queries, temp files, sizes, and so on. This can help you get a better knowledge of your workload in order to identify odd behaviors. You can also enable the PG underscore start underscore statements module that will provide a means for tracking execution statistics on all SQL statements executed by a server. Auditing. The PostgreSQL audit extension or PG audit provides a detailed session on object audit logging via the standard PostgreSQL login facility. Basic statement. This logging can be provided by standard logging facility with log underscore statements. This is acceptable for monitoring other usages, but does not provide the level of detail generally required for an audit. It is not enough to have a list of all the operations performed against the database, but it must also be possible to find particular statements that are of interest to an auditor. The standard logging facility shows that the user requested, while PG Audit focuses on details of what happened while the database was satisfying the request. Next thing is patching, which you do regularly and frequently for critical and security updates and patches, keeping in mind that OS or library security bugs can also lead to a database leak, so ensure that you keep up to date with the patches for this. Cluster control provides an operational report that gives you information and will execute the patches and upgrades for you. The next one is row level security. In addition to the SQL standard privilege, the system available through grant tables have a row security policies that restrict on per user basis which rows have returned by normal queries or inserted, updated, or deleted by modification standards. This feature also is known as row security. When row security is enabled on a table, on all normal access or to a table for selecting rows or modifying rows, that must be allowed on a row security policy. Here are simple examples on how. Here are the references that I used. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it.